Hello, welcome to the Toronto Ultra Merk and Maven podcast. Today we have the sexiest man to ever come out of Australia. Alaska. They both start with an A, I guess. Alaska. No. I was thinking about Miles. I'm not really sure, but listen, I don't know a single person from Alaska, so it's pretty cool. Like, we get to learn about you, and I'm assuming like Eskimos and
he's also fishing. A world champion, Major 4 champion, best S&D player in the world right now. That you could have went with those accolades, but you went with Alaska.
I don't know. Was it my Australian accent today that got me confused, Joe? I don't know.
No, it was not. But Drazah, thank you for joining us today. How you doing, man?
Of course. Yeah, I'm doing great. Obviously we just came off the Major 4 championship. A few days off, but we're almost right back into the mix, so I'm excited.
When do you guys start practicing again?
I think Friday we have one scrim, and then I think we have Saturday off. So it'd be like Friday, and then Sunday is our next probably startup day.
Okay, awesome. I like that. Right back into it. Yeah, as Maven was talking about, you have a very interesting story, which I can't wait to hear. I've heard it before from Eric. We're obviously close friends with him, well, bits and pieces of it. But you grew up in Alaska, so I'm just gonna let you go there.
I know people live there.
No, people do live there. But tell us, please, about growing up in Alaska, playing COD from Alaska.
Yeah. So obviously it snows for about probably 8 months of the year. Probably 7-8 months of the year. So it's pretty easy to stay inside because it gets to 50 below where I was at. So it gets really cold. So I went outside a few times, go play in the snow, whatever. You have to wear snow pants, snow boots, gloves, hat, everything. But it's pretty easy to yeah, you gotta wear one of those to go outside. Yeah.
He's ready, bro.
He's ready. He's ready. You're showing him a Faze one too. That's his rival right now, Maeve.
Yeah.
All the wrong things. Australia. Yeah, that's a good point. Where did you grow up in Alaska?
Fairbanks, Alaska. So it's a little out there, but yeah, I mean I was playing, games since I was a kid. I used to literally do chores because I have a huge family. So I have 8 brothers and sisters. So I literally used to do chores. So my older brothers would play Halo and COD with me. So
Where are you at on the totem pole of the 8?
I'm basically right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. So
that's wild.
They were gaming, and that's how you got into games.
Yeah, so I've been gaming since I was a kid, and it's cold as fuck outside, so I'm able to just literally Mom, there's nothing to do outside. Let me just game all day.
Yeah.
Can I ask a serious question?
Yeah.
So my worst nightmare is out on the ice and you get trapped under the ice. You see that in a movie? Did that happen to people all the time?
No, not really. Most people, I mean, it's normally just frozen, so people don't once it takes a few days and it's frozen up. But I've actually been ice fishing before, and obviously you drill a hole in the ice, and I've had one of my legs go right through the hole. But luckily it wasn't that big. Yeah, luckily it wasn't that big, so I wouldn't fall through. But that would have been tough.
That any movie that's in it gives me so much anxiety when I see that. I'm like, no, they're slamming on the ice. No.
Yeah, wow, you really are. You are up there in Fairbanks. I'm looking at a map right now.
Gosh, I want to look at that. I want to look at that too.
Dude, that is crazy. So you're
the only thing I've heard about it is
halfway up Canada
there, and it was amazing. That's all I know.
Yeah,
a lot of people do Alaska out there. Okay, so you're in Fairbanks, Alaska. You're gaming because I'm the same way. I grew up, in Ohio.
Yeah,
it's cold. The winter, you're gaming. That's just the way it is.
For sure.
But it's different for you because it's cold all the time. Well, 90% of the time. So I guess then, how did you get to competitive? How did you find that niche?
Yeah, so about 2016, midway through Black Ops 3 is when I started playing my first ever month. I played game balance before, but the first time I ever played for $1 or my first dollar wager was in the midway of Black Ops 3, and then I think I got a BenQ for my monitor, and so midway through Black Ops 3, my first dollar I ever played on CMG. And I was just playing with one of my best friends at the time, and still my best friend, my boy Op, and me and him, we had a little squad, and we were playing for $1. So we ended up playing all the way through 2016. I didn't really watch much competitive, but I was just playing, having some fun. And then come to 2017, I ended up playing in the off-season Black Ops 3 again. So it was 2017 Black Ops 3, and I played for my first $100. And that's kind of where it kind of kicked me into it. Okay, it's possible to make a little bit of money here. because obviously at that time I don't even know, like probably 16 or
right.
Yeah, about 16. So like I didn't have no money, so I played some Fortnite, and that kind of cooked me, like, taught me a few things. But I was also playing Black Ops 3 in like each and every off season, and come like 2018, I was the best S&D like Black Ops 3 person out there, and I was just grinding that only. And I was able to like play against people like Rallied and Illy and people like that. And I was playing so much in every offseason. Obviously now like pros, like Illy like was a pro, I think at the time, or either coming to be a pro. But like they got stuff to do. They got to play in their season. But I was just sitting there grinding Black Ops 3 the whole entire season basically, or especially in off seasons where like people would come play. So I was able to become like one of the best players in Black Ops 3, and that kind of gave me the outlet to like, if I can beat Illy, if I can beat Rallied in these games, then I think, maybe I could go play some amateurs. Like maybe I can do something. And that kind of kicked me into, trying to go pro in MW.
So you were one of those demons that the pros are always tweeting about that they just despise. Like off-season tourneys, because everyone in the off-season is looking for you're just trying to fill time.
Exactly.
I mean, you're literally just whatever it is. And yeah, they go back to the old school games. But you were one of the guys who just played the same game for multiple years and never got off of it.
So in World War II and Black Ops 4, I did play in the beginning. So in the beginning, the first like few weeks of World War II, I think I won the first day on World War II in like the S&D tournaments. And then Black Ops 4, I also won the first day. But then during Black Ops 4, I literally could not play. My internet was so bad, so I had to quit the whole year. So I stopped playing the whole entire year, and that was, I believe I was 17 at the time, and that was kind of where it was like, okay, so Black Ops 4 came through. I started playing the beginning of games. I actually remember, I don't know who it was, but I do remember I ended up losing a 5-5 round 11 gridlock on Black Ops 4. It was like probably 100 something each, and I don't know who his teammates were, but I lost it to Slasher.
Oh.
So I assume it was probably his BO4 team. I think maybe Priesta was in there. I'm not too sure who was in there, but it was me and my friends playing these tournaments, and we ended up losing a 5-5 round 11. So I do remember that from a long time ago.
Shocking from you. Yeah.
I was like, like I almost.
You seem to keep a lot of mental
This
notes.
guy is talking shit about things 6 years ago. Yeah.
So that one kind of hurt. But it was like, okay, so I can't compete anymore in BO4. It was coming to be like I was turning 18 that year. And basically, I was talking to my friend Optimum, who at the time I had been friends with him since like AW. We were always playing these Black Ops 3 tournaments, all these tournaments this whole entire time. And I was living in Alaska. No, like the internet wasn't good enough. It was basically chalked. I knew no one outside of Alaska. No one's in the States. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, him and his mom talked, and they said that if I wanted to, I could come live with them. And it was just him and his mom at the time. And basically, I went and worked a job to go pick up dog shit and take dogs out. And I'm not even like, I like dogs. I've had dogs growing up, but I've never been like a super huge into dogs or cats. So I was out there picking up dog shit, letting the dogs out, cleaning their whole entire kennels, all that for like a month and a half to get enough money, which was about, I think I only got like $600 or something like that. But I ended up being able to ship $1,000 PC, like all the parts to his house. Before I even left, I shipped $1,000. Like I trusted him. I shipped $1,000 worth of PC parts out there, and I bought my plane ticket. And I was like, this is it. And this was in the off season of BO4 going into MW. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna play some more Black Ops 3 in the off season, and I'm gonna cook up my money, and I'm gonna try to compete in MW. So and that was the first time I've ever been on a plane and left Alaska my whole entire life. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go live with this guy Optimum and his mom. And I never knew who they were. And I just, there could have been a different scenario. I'd probably get kidnapped and like it's over. But
hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully
not. This one it worked out.
Yeah. So
it made me think of moving to Atlanta with Scott or Illinois. Dude.
Oh, in the middle of nowhere.
Just take a leap, bro.
Seattle, Washington.
Okay, so you moved to Seattle. Before that, though, like that conversation with your family, how did that go? Obviously, you're playing for some cash. You're probably at the age like 16. You're like, they're like, are you gonna work a job? All your older siblings are, and you're like, I can make some money off games. You're gonna do that. So they have an idea that this is possible, but like to do that, how did that go down with the family?
Yeah, so it was actually super. My mom's like father figure not really in the picture, so it was just me and my mom basically, and I had like obviously a whole bunch of brothers and sisters growing up, so they're all pretty supportive about it. Obviously there's some people in the family like especially like aunts and people like that who weren't like, you know, that's just not even that's just not even real. But my mom's always had faith, and especially my brother. Huge shout out to my boy Josh. My older brother, more so like a dad figure to me. He said basically always been the person. He even came to champs last year and we ended up winning champs. But he basically said, hey, like, I understand this is your dream to do it. And he said, listen, at any point, call me and you have a flight back. So it was super easy for that. So it's like always a safety net, which was super nice. But my mom basically, she just gave me a plane ticket for my birthday and she said, hey, good luck. And she believed in me the whole time. So it was super easy, never too hard, and it was like my 18th birthday when I was about leaving.
Dude,
still wild though. Like,
yeah, no, just to hear
it's easy, but like,
that's some passion,
and that's the start of it all. That's just to even load into a lobby,
right? Not to get to the CDL,
exactly.
Not to even, I mean, have a top challenger team.
I didn't even have players to play with. It was just me and my boy Op looking for people at the time.
Wild. I guess for you, you get a couple of like second place challengers in MW. You end up finding some players. You know, you have some good placings. Obviously, you start to get on the radar. And then you kind of at the end of MW, you get picked up by OGLA, which at the time was, well, it was a scary one. You and Hollow were kind of there to save the ship, maybe like keep it from sinking towards the end. I guess for you though, what was that moment like getting that call to OGLA?
Yeah, it was actually insane because it was actually funny because I ended up losing that. So basically, Eric followed me, my dog followed me like I don't know how many days before, but it was a few days before the cup that was coming up, and we ended up getting top 16, and we lost. We lost and got top 16, and it was probably the worst event the worst time I've ever played. And I was like, wow, like I blew my whole chance. Like that was it. That was my chance right there. And it's probably chalked. So that was pretty, I was like, damn, like I was pretty hard on myself at the time. But
did you have any idea or just that he followed you?
He just followed me. So that's the only thing I knew. I didn't know how it was going down. So you were just
like, this guy's looking at me.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So I was hoping for a good, because we had a few we never won, but we had like 2 seconds, some thirds. Like we had some pretty good placements in challengers. We just never could ever, get the actual win, which sucked. But, the Eric hitting me up for me and Hollow to play in the, go to the big leagues was just a dream come true. I remember in my Washington house, literally just, wow, like, what is this? Like, it's actually insane. We ended up going to Texas for a little bit for champs, but yeah, it was just unreal, feeling. And even though, fast forward a little bit, like I ended up not getting picked up. Well, I was still under the team, but I wasn't in the pro league again. I was just blessed to even get on the initial starting spot, and it worked out decent. We made some good money at champs. We got top 6 at champs, and it ended up not really panning out too much going into the next year, but it was still huge to be able to the thing is, a lot of challengers players, 100%, and like a lot of challengers players, like, and this one thing, like, shout out to my boy Mohawk, is like I kind of feel bad for my boy Mohawk because
he's winning a lot.
He won back-to-back champs, and maybe some people don't want him on his team. Maybe they think he's not too kill horror. Maybe he thinks he doesn't know enough. But once you get to the pro league, you learn a lot. So that, like, I learned a lot from joining the pro league to be the player that I started to become. Like, you learn a lot about, like, when you have people in your ear who have been playing for a long time, they teach you a lot of things, and it's like you're never gonna learn more in challengers, especially if you're winning. So it's like hard to gauge in that sense, where it's like, if I just stayed in challengers and never got picked up for OGLA, how good would I be?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Even though I ended up going back, I took a lot of things away from that year of like learning how to play and learning, tendencies from like my teammates and everything. So it was a huge stepping stone in my whole entire career to get that call. And I was just blessed to have it.
Well, what, like, when you come in with people like TJ, Kenny, I think Slasher especially, like, so established, I guess, what's it like when, I assume they were going through it, right? Like, they're frustrated with how everything's going. Like, it was a shit show.
Losers too. I mean, you guys almost made a run. Yeah. You lost like the Huntsman in around 11. I remember that.
That one hurt.
I'm sure Slasher was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, he would have wanted to pick up another pro player back then, I think. But that was 100%. The call that was made. Oh, I think he said that to me.
Well, yeah,
100%.
It was desperation time, I think.
Oh no,
because
they made it was a meme how many changes they made. Remember, it was like they made like 100 team changes, like between subs and stuff. Like it was constant. It was wild how many they happened, which we'll talk about later. It's wild they then stuck with it, considering the results later. But like, yeah, it was a circus, honestly, when Thieves first came into it. But I just want to know for you, like when you've got somebody like Slasher, like, did you feel a lot of pressure or just motivation? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, I feel like for the OGLA team, I feel like it was pretty easy. I feel like they did it really well as like, hey, like we like come in with no pressure, play the way you want to play, and we can work off of you. Kind of like we can work off of you guys. Like come teach. Like I'll give Darian Hollow a lot of credit. That guy also helped my career a lot, especially in that game, because that guy knew what quadrant spawns were. He knew why people were spawning here. He knows that if you cross this line, what's going to happen with that. So he was really smart in spawns, and that guy is a very, very smart IQ in COD. And so I feel like me and him came in, and I feel like we helped their hardpoint and helped them a lot in hardpoint wise, and kind of teach them like a little bit more spawns and like why all these things are. And I give a lot of credit to Darian Hollow. But I feel like we kind of came in, said, hey, like this is kind of changed everything. Like we played how we wanted to play, and they like helped, like we worked together to like play, not like, hey, welcome to the league. This is how we play. This is how it should be. Blah blah blah. It's more so okay. Explain why you want to go around this way. Like so I feel like they were really good for like let us come in and play like us and let us have our voice in the call. But I don't remember too much other than that, to be honest.
I remember
because the
OG
OG
is Drazah, and Hollow's the guy who changed his name every time he got 180'd, right? Like
that's just how.
That's messed up. That's messed up, man. Dude, he was giving him props, dude, and you had to throw that in there.
That World War II map, dude. He literally like got gunned and changed his name. I swear to God, it was a change.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even. That's what's crazy because I never watched COD before that, so I actually didn't know a lot of people.
See, it worked. It worked, Maeve.
I didn't know a lot of people or history for a lot of people, even in the pro league. So I never really watched until MW. So that's why it was actually pretty crazy. Of like. Obviously playing now and even Cold War or whenever Vanguard, like it's like damn, like we came into a team that like had insane amount of like accolades already, like, and I didn't know that as much as the time. I couldn't respect that as much because I didn't know all that. I didn't know who was world champs, who done what. Like I knew like somewhat of it, but never like a true like backstory like I kind of do now, Yeah,
that's pretty nuts. Yeah, because OGLA, that was like the whole dashy thing. I think maybe what you're referring to is Cold War, where that's where all those roster changes really came into play. OGLA was just kind of the mess from the start. Yep. Then that's when like Cap retired.
I'm
you're thinking of Cold. But you guys, you guys get top 6. You guys, we're a round away from being top 4. Who knows? Yeah. You guys could have gone on a crazy run.
We're getting top 3 at least. We are not losing the London Royal Ravens. I promise you that. I don't care who their roster was back then. I swear to God, we wouldn't have lost that.
Yeah, and at the time, you were like an entry, like you were like an objective sub, right?
Yeah, I was very much entry sub, and that's like. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't think too much in my game back then. It was more of like, and that's good and bad things. Like, I feel like once people come into the league, they kind of slow down a little bit more. You learn a little bit more, which is good. But you also want to keep the
pace.
Keep the pace up. You don't want to turn into like a slug per se. But yeah, MW, I was a complete run, gun, smoke, mixy, everything. Like I was a complete entry sub, going for as much engagements as I could, kind of like a Reese Vivid in a sense.
Yep.
And then so we ended up going to Cold War. I did not get picked back up onto the team. Didn't get any team offers.
Were you a sub though?
Yep. So I got re-signed into being a sub.
I remember we were really like high on you. Like Joe and I remember talking to like Eric. We were trying to talk Eric into like you being on the starting lineup just from hearing how like hungry you were and your gameplay. Like I heard you were showing up like content shoots early.
He wanted that too. It was just the players at that point.
That's when I think Slasher talked about like kind of wanting another pro, I believe, is when I chatted with him. But like I remember like we were really high on you because you just like I don't know, you wanted it, bro. It was obvious from the get-go.
Now, I will admit though, like obviously, especially Cold War 2, but like that was my first game ever. So I was good. I was able to be a pro, but I wasn't like crazy insane player like I am now, or like I was in Vanguard, or even Cold War. I think that's my worst game, and obviously that was my first one, so it's gonna be my worst. And I think I have grown in each and every game since. But like, I have no hate or like super confusion why I never played like the next year or got like, I probably think I should have got some offers, but I think it's good I didn't, because I was able to continue to play with people like that once, you know, later in the year, like Kenny and people like that. But yeah, so I do think I was pretty good at MW, but I don't think I was no all-star or like someone who like 100% needed to be in the league. I think for some of the lower teams I should have been, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and you know, being
able to won an event or something probably would have been the case.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, thinking now they're probably wishing they would have
yeah.
But yeah, now we're gonna get into like a bit of a crazier Cold War. You start off as a sub. It's just a bit of a circus. They have a lot of team changes. Cap just recently talked about it, how like even Matt was one of the reasons why they made one of the team changes. It wasn't just him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for this roster, like, you know, we expected more that year, even right from the get-go. But I guess for you, like you said, you go back to challengers, you're learning more. Just the fact that, I mean, you didn't even know the accolades that the people you were playing with was probably, like, thinking it now, was probably a good thing just to continue to play for you, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do think I definitely could have been. I don't know how it would have worked out in Cold War, but I do think like getting time in challengers was probably a very good thing for me going into Cold War, because I was able to learn the game more, understand how I want to play and how I think shit should be played. And if I go into Cold War, because that's my second year now, it'd be the beginning of my second year, if we weren't doing hot, that could also be my career type. Not like per se career, because obviously you can show your talent to join different teams, but like if we weren't doing too hot initially, kind of like how like the main roster did, like they started off I think 4-1 in their online split. I don't exactly remember how like their Cold War went, but I do think at the end of the day, like being able to learn more and keep playing was probably a better thing for me. So like, because my stock could have been probably pretty bad if I didn't do good in the beginning.
That sounds like like a rookie NFL quarterback, bro. Like when they get a couple of years to sit behind like the starter and learn, like they usually do pretty well. When they get thrown in the fray, like dude, it's a coin flip. Like you never know if it's gonna work. So I get that, like a little more time.
Well, even just think too, like nowadays, a lot of challengers, not all of them, but a good amount, you know, they've been around for a couple of years. They know everyone. They have relationships already. Yeah. You're literally like a sponge at this point. Like it's so different than anything that anyone we've talked to who's had a story like this. Like, yeah, you skipped some steps, like where you just got yourself in a position where you're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just here to play Call of Duty. I want to win. I want to compete. When do you come into Cold War? Like for the starting lineup, was it for Hook? Was it right around then?
So initially, I'm pretty sure that. So I'll bring a little bit more backstory. So we're playing challengers. We weren't I wasn't doing too hot in the beginning of challengers. And this was right when they started falling down. I ended up switching to an AR. So I switched to an AR. I play with me, Decimate, Twerk, and Insight. So we play with that roster. Me and Jamie as AR duo. We were actually frying.
That's a nasty AR duo.
Yeah. So we were frying, and that was like, I ain't never ran I run both guns. I've always been like prideful in being able to run both guns because I play so much. It's easy to do, and you know most players can obviously shoot both guns, but to be comfortable in both guns is a lot harder.
Kind of knowing your role, positioning.
Exactly. Yeah. So I ended up switching to an AR because we couldn't really win with my roster that I had before. Switched to an AR to try something out. We ended up going back to back. We won like the open. I think we won like I don't know exactly if we won the elite. I think we won an open tournament, and that was like 40K open, and then we won a challenger event right after that. And then I hear that they're gonna pick up Los, so Venom. They were gonna pick up Venom over me. So I just beat him in a tournament. So I'm sitting here like, bro, there's no way I've been on their bench. So we placed top 6. I've been on their bench for 6 months or whatever, and then I just went back to back in tournaments, and they're about to pick up other people. So at the moment, I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm like,
there's a challenger's ego coming out.
I was like, no fucking way. Like they're gonna pick up Los over me. He was playing really good, but I just won both these tournaments. I'm like, bro, come on. So then they end up picking up Los, and then I think Standy gets put into the league. and then it got a little mixy. So they were playing for a while. I ended up switching back to the sub.
Okay.
Actually, no, my bad. So some time goes by. I win the elite. Venom gets dropped, or no.
It was such a crazy year.
Yeah. No, it's like Hook got you came into two crazy situations.
So
you came into Dashy's nutty situation, then like Hook, the whole Hook circus, like he was signing his name wrong, and
So I think I remember the timeline. So initially, I'm still running the AR.
It's like an Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'm running the AR.
I was reading through on the cut thing. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck happened there?
The first person I came in for was Slasher. So so I came in for Slasher. It was me, Kenny, Venom, and TJ, and we were playing pretty good.
You guys were good. That was like, you guys were getting better, but then the Hook signing happened, right?
Exactly.
That's what happened.
Yep. So we ended up getting Hook for TJ, and then we didn't play too hot. We were actually looking really good in the online split. I think we were maybe 3-2 or 4-1. I believe probably 3-2, but we were playing pretty well. And then we end up, and then after that, we end up getting, I think, a bad event, and then I get dropped.
So then this is when it was just musical chairs.
It was so it was just all over. So I ended up.
You were back to the bench, right? You never actually did you get dropped, or you were just back? To the bench?
Back to the bench. So I got back to the bench. I think I got back. Who did they pick up? I think they just brought back Slasher for me.
Yeah, look at this. This is insane.
Yeah, let me see. There's so many rosters.
I got a headache looking at it. I was like,
John was brought in. I forgot about that.
Yeah, John, when
did he play a game? When did that happen?
Isn't that how they finished? Is that how they finished?
Yeah, we finished. Yeah, me, John. Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. I almost forgot, and I played with him.
Okay.
Yeah, this was an insane year. But basically, I mean, Hugh came back. He obviously spelled his name wrong. I came back as a sub. Literally played that same event. We got top 12. We lost to LAG in like a game 5. I think we got Nesload, which kind of hurt. And then after that, they just said, fuck it. We picked, and then I came back on the roster. Then we ended up getting John. We played pretty decent going into it, and probably one of our best teams that we had that year with me on it. And then we ended up getting, I think, top 8 at champs. So it was a crazy roller coaster. But I learned a lot about myself and what and how obviously a lot of people say I have a delusional ego and stuff like that. But my delusional confidence definitely came more so from that year as well. Because I went from a sub to an AR to in the league as an AR, then got dropped. Instead of running AR, I switched back to a sub because I knew if there was going to be another roster change, it was going to be for the sub players. So I switched back to a sub, got back into the league, and then ended up getting top 8 again, which was tough. But
chip on your shoulder for sure.
But I was just switching so many guns.
At least you're showing everybody what you could do.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It's wild to think about just the two situations you came into this all with, with Dashy's weird ass year in MW with he was running a sub and I don't even know what all the drama was
going on there. Yeah.
Then the Hook thing is how you kind of get established into the roster. These weird
there may be a lot of people who are listening to this who don't know what happened. Basically, this is when we started to go back to LANs, I believe. Was at the end of Cold War. And they had to take COVID tests, right? That was peak COVID. I think it was only players there. They had COVID tests every day, and they had to submit theirs. And I believe on this application, he spelled his Hook he basically misspelled his name. I'm assuming he just didn't double check it. And then so his test was not valid, and his test was not valid for that day, so he couldn't play. So then Drazah had to come sub in literally in the middle. Yeah, the middle of a tournament. Well, the start of it. So they had no practice with Drazah. It was all with Hook. And they had to bring subs in. So that is that crazy situation. Yeah. So you had one heck of a year in Cold War.
These were literally a meme.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but at the end of the year, I was very confident because I was talking to Eric, talking to Ken, people like that. And they basically guaranteed me, pretty much guaranteed that we're playing next year, me, Kenny, and we're looking for 2. And it was obviously Ken was picking the next 2 people, and he was going to go crazy for that. But
Austin's got to show this off. They got to show this off.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah,
that was a tough one.
I forgot about that. Yeah, the 250 to 14. Don't see that very often anymore in COD.
I forgot about that too, bro.
Hey, I will talk about my S&D though, because right after this, we won the S&D.
There we go. Hey, there we go. There we go.
I think that was an online match too, and I think I was really in our comms after that S&D. Yeah, we're back on that fair shit, and then we lost the series. I was like, damn.
Dude, during all this show, can you fathom going through this as him and dealing with Matthew Hags?
Well, I think it's more
like dealing Nate, bro. You know how he is, dude. He's insane when it comes to this stuff. He's so passionate about it, bro. Like, Drazah, did you ever dropkick him just once?
No, never. I actually don't think I talked to him much because I was mostly. I don't think I was in Texas the whole time for Cold War, so I didn't really talk to Nate like that, to be honest.
I think that was Eric dealing with the brunt of that.
Yeah. Some combos with Eric, bro.
Yeah,
he loved Nate, but he's
him and Cap.
Yeah,
yeah. That's when that was pretty early into the year and into these where I think he was a much more connected to all the teams, and I think he's very his passion. It shows even like the video where you guys won.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. He comes in the room all the time, and he's always like, "Yo, you guys need anything?" And we got Juvies on deck as well. So like,
love that.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah. So as you said, you finish up Cold War, but you have a spot. And I was thinking, like, dude, the couple of years you had, is there any like thought in your mind of like, what in the world am I doing? Or did you know like this is where you wanted to be? This is what you wanted to do. Like, are you thinking at all like this is just too much?
No, not really ever. I always just knew like, I'm just a very hard worker, always playing the game, and there's like there's only a few people, and that's why like I have some really good friendships right now. And I'm not friends with people in the Pro League, but like I have a few friends in Pro League. Like we're cool with a lot of people. I'm cool with a lot of people, but like I have some pretty deep connections with some amateur players and people that like were with me when I was getting through all this shit. Yeah, so it's like I have some real deep connections with some people, and like I can always respect like how much people play. That's one thing for me is like, bro, like whether you're an amateur, whether you're in the Pro League, one thing I'll always do is I know who's grinding. I play the most, so I know who's playing, and I always have the utmost respect for anyone who's playing and putting in the extra hours that people won't see.
I mean, let's talk about you played Vanguard after winning a Vanguard World Championship. I mean, I remember after you winning a ring, you were literally tweeting out for Vanguard Chalice. Let's just talk about how much COD this guy plays, man.
I was going to say, you went from all that craziness we just talked about to having to play fucking Vanguard.
Yeah. Hey, that's the best game I've ever seen, so I don't know.
Good thing you were grinding, because...
Yeah.
Well, here is the good thing. Yeah. Here is the good thing. You go into Vanguard and you guys have, I mean, it doesn't start off probably the way you guys wanted to, but you have a roster, right? And I think you probably all kind of knew that. You went from the mess that was whatever everything was in OGLA and Cold War Year 2. You now have you, Kenny, Sam, and Envoy. And I mean, you just got to be thinking, like, if we put this together, we're going to be champions.
What was the commitment to it? Like, is what I want to know, because there were so many changes the year before, but like even though the results weren't there, like this seemed to be locked. Was there like a combo of sort of like we have this year no matter what, or was it just strings, or what was it?
You're saying if like me and Ken type thing?
Well, just like that squad when you're talking about Vanguard, like considering all the changes before, like you guys seemed, despite some okay results, like you guys that was the squad, and you guys were gonna figure it out, like. Yeah,
I think we started off the Major 1, I believe, very hot in Hardpoint. I think we were close to like 13-1 or 14-1.
I remember that.
Maybe not true, but I'm pretty sure we were starting off really hot in Hardpoint, and that's what like that's kind of been we've always been a really good respawn team since the beginning. But I did think like there was a chance. I didn't know. I thought there was gonna be a roster change made. I thought I was gonna be dropped during Major 2 because. Like you said, bro, if there's one thing I know, if there's one thing I know about the players I was playing with, especially Kenny, Cap, Mud Dog, Nate, if I knew anything about them, I knew we have to win championships. That is the end goal. If that doesn't happen, shit changes. And it's just as easy as that. And that's as easy as it needs to be. So obviously we got like top 6, I think Major 1. We went 0-5 in the qualifier stage. and I believe we got like a top 8 maybe at the major 2.
Yep.
So we weren't looking hot, and I definitely thought like there was definitely like something needed to change. I think something needed to change. And luckily, we kind of came into the year with this into our back mind. I didn't really think about it the whole year, but like at one point, we knew how flexible me and Ken could be. So Ken was on the AR, I was on the sub at the time, and we did briefly like talk about like if we need to, we can switch roles. And luckily, that was what happened. And I think that was that's what sparked a whole new life. It wasn't like we kept everything the same, 0-5, nothing was there. We did change something. It was just lucky enough, and how much we both are very like flexible in our roles to be able to make it work and make it work for even years after. But I never really ran an AR like that. I knew it was possible. I knew I could do it. I did it a little bit in Cold War. I knew like it was kind of like it was possible if I really wanted to. But I think that's what changed everything for us. It sparked a new life of hope. It wasn't like, okay, we're getting slammed in scrims. We just went 0-5. We got top 8. We're supposed to be fucking winning. Like, we changed it up. We learned how to talk a lot better in these in our conversations during scrims and everything.
That was obvious in
minimap
alone, dude.
and that's what really changed our whole entire year, is me and Ken switching roles and creating a new life and a new something to the team instead of the same old, we're getting slammed in scrims, same team, same everything.
That makes sense.
So
I figured there was something.
Up.
Yeah, it had to be something.
It was the role change for sure.
Yeah, I think we talked to Sam too. We had Sam on early and last year, and I think he talked about like around Major 2, he just felt like he couldn't get it together. Like his confidence was low. I remember talking to him about that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it was tough for him to balance sort of his own performance because I think for Sam, he had Seattle for a couple of years. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I'm going back to Thieves. That's where I won titles in BO4. Like, I need to win. And I think there was like this extra stress on him. And he said he worked with, like, I think you guys had a sports psychologist at the time, but just sort of balancing being on yourself and versus like everyone being on the same page as a team. Because, we've watched a lot of your guys' scrims, listening to your guys' comms. You could tell just the way you guys communicate. It is like, it's not like when a game ends. Like I joked with you guys, I think it was Major 3 or whatever we were in Texas. Like when a map ends, Ken just alt tabs. Yeah. He goes to the YouTube where you guys have the VOD and he's watching the minimap. Right. And then initially that always starts a discussion. It's sort of, what the hell were we doing here at 328? Right. Like that's all. It's never maybe someone's like, I got slammed, but like there's always a discussion of what happened here. What happened here? But I think like for Sam, that was a big deal to kind of find like this sort of balance between that. Cause I think, for all of you guys, there was even for like Dylan, he had some good years, but it's not like he was winning. Right. So like you guys probably put a ton of stress on each other, right? Just to have those results.
And it's also very hard to be able to, like, especially me, my whole person is COD right now, and so when you're losing, like, it's tough. It's as low as you can get it, especially like for me, especially because I'm like fully into it. But like, it's just hard to be like, bro. Okay, so we have Major 1 top 6. That's not good. Top 6 isn't horrible, but it's not good. We go into 0-5. We can't win 1, and the way we were losing them was even worse. Like we're getting 1v3 to S&D. We're losing all these situations. We can't win a hard point or control whatever the situation is. To lose 5 straight, going to the Major and get top 8, like. This is a championship team, and like you're trying to put it all together. You're sitting there every single day trying to do everything you can for what I mean. And I'm pretty sure that year even started late. So it's like we're probably 5 months into the year, and we're sitting here with nothing in our hands. We got a top 8 and a top 6. It's very hard, especially with like when you have passionate players, and this is for every team. Like each and every day trying to get that right, trying to just fix a little bit of it at least, and just coming up with the top 8. That hurts. Like it's very hard to not bounce back from it, but it's very hard to have a positive mentality and keep going 110% every single day to get back to where you need to be. Exactly.
But was it easier in a way because Vanguard did that shit to everyone? Like in the sense of like everyone was kind of going through that. Like I feel like that had to just make it at least soften the blow a little. Like
I just think that, and that's one thing that like it's very good for players like me. I think that people lose passion. I think that people are, people think there's probably quite a bit of grinders, and I'm not saying, I mean, people have two different looks on it. I've seen coaches tweet about it. I've seen players tweet about it. Like there's such thing that, exactly, a balance. For me, what works for me, and it's different for everyone. What works for me, there is no balance. Fuck a balance. I play all day. I'm gonna go home and play. Obviously, if I just played for a week, like if I know when I need it. I know when I need to chill, and I'll take a day off. I'll take a few hours off. But like for me, my balance, like there's no balance. I play and I play and I play and I play and I play, and I know what I need to work on, and I work hard to do it. I work hard to fix the things that I know our team needs. And that isn't just scrims. Like after scrims, there's not a lot of people who play that much after. And I think that was also a big thing for Vanguard of why, like, I really think that we also became one of the best teams the best team in the world at that game, is because I sat there every single night for months playing S&D, because I knew our S&D was good, okay, but it wasn't great. It wasn't, I mean, granted, technically, it wasn't even probably at the time what Faze is this year, where it's like a 20-4 record. That's insane. But it's like, I knew if I need to get better. Major 2, I think I got slammed in S&D, or we got slammed, and I was like, listen, like, I know I'm an S&D player. I came from S&D. I need to be able to play enough and know everything to make it work with this team, whether that's making play calls, knowing what to do mid-round situations, which really is most of it. So I just felt like for me, it's always keep working. And if you're not doing anything, work harder. And eventually for me, it's always worked.
Oh, I mean, I think I think champs. I think one thing like that goes under the radar is your guys' champs like search and major I think your major 4 search was okay. You guys end up winning that one, but your champ search was you might have lost one, or was almost perfect. You might have lost one.
I don't remember, but
I don't remember, but I just remember it was insane. You guys beat.
It was good, and it was very bad in major 2. We flipped it the fuck around, and that's what like I'm very excited and happy with this team is like. We can be bad at one thing, but more times than not, we're really good at we're at least at like a level at all 3. More times than not, we're probably more better at respawn, but we're able to we can learn how to. It's not like, okay, this team's ass at S&D, they're ass at S&D the whole year. Like we do work very hard, and I work very hard, especially in S&D, to be able to change our S&D to make it better, because I know who the fuck I have on a team. I know who I have. I'm playing with all-star respawn players. And not saying they're not good at S&D at all, but I'm saying like, bro, Sam. Yeah, Sam has
exactly.
Sam literally is an all-star respawn player. He is insane at respawn. He literally had a 1 point fucking something this event. He also had like a insane unreal control KD and hardpoint KD. Like I know what I have on my team, and I know what I need to work on and bring to the team for us to win. It doesn't matter. I don't need to be. And I can go off in hardpoint, but I don't always have to go off in hardpoint. I can let them do their thing.
You'll get
and
yours,
Sam, exactly. I'll get mine. And Sam also has 2 minutes in hill every time too. That's my AR duo. He always sits in my hill. Yeah, he soaks it up. So the least I could do is go play some S&D and kick us up for these S&D tournaments and whatnot.
Oh, 100%. That's awesome. I guess we'll wrap up Vanguard quick. You guys win major 4, you guys win champs. I mean. I guess, what do you think it was just with the game? Because no one else really figured it out. What do you guys think it was that your roster found out with Vanguard towards the end? Because it just felt like the entire year you had all these different winners. You had Faze getting second, but then at the end it was like everything clicked. Was it just, I don't know,
real quick, I want to say what Joe and I thought, because Joe and I were watching it together, and Joe looked at me and goes, "Bro, they figured it out." I was like, all right. He's like, just watch the mini map. And you guys were like, it was like synchronized swimmers, bro. You could just tell the comms were on, and you guys were playing as a unit, is what we kind of thought. Nothing, no magic, just playing together well. But I'm curious to hear like what you thought, because that's Joe and I were sitting there like, oh shit, people are fucked. I remember his face.
Yeah.
Like, people are fucked.
Hey, you weren't wrong. I just think I think we really have really good concepts. I think we talk very well, and we have really good ideas of how to play the game. And our ideas might not work the first major. It might not work. Like, it just depends. Like, I feel like we play a really good, perfect COD. We try to, and sometimes we do need to go rogue. And that's why, like, I think that Optic's really good right now, because Optic will spawn kill you when maybe you're not even supposed to get spawn killed, but they know their spawn kills and they know when you're spawning there and like where you're spawning. So they're very good.
You guys may try to set something else up instead of going for a spawn kill.
Exactly. Where like, and I feel like that is a good way to play in a sense if you're always on point. But at the same time, when you're playing perfect COD, shit should come to you. It should be easier to shoot your gun when you're playing really good, or when you. And that's what it's saying. Basically, I think when you play close to perfect COD, which you can't always play, you can bail yourself out of situations with your gun skill and your talent. But when you get into certain situations, you guarantee them. And I feel like that's what we really did last year. That was super good. And we're starting to do this year is like when we use our talent to get into a certain situation, knowing when we're in the situation in game and understanding what we need to do to make sure that it's almost impossible for them to do something. So it's like, I feel like we just gotten really good, and once we get our concepts down, I think that's why we become like one of the scariest teams there is, because we start to understand in the moment, like what we have to do for multiple situations to, make it very hard on an enemy team. And at the end of the day, if they walk out and get a 2-piece, there's nothing you do about it. You can play perfect COD, but if they get a 2-piece, they get a 2-piece. They're bailing themselves out with their talent.
Better get that gunny up.
Exactly.
That's interesting to hear, because I think like the reason I got kind of high on Optic going into this event is like they've been that team for a long time where it's like they need to be hot, like they need to be the way they play, they've got to be, or they're going to struggle. But like when they started winning, hard points while getting outslayed, I'm like, okay, maybe they're starting to turn a corner here. But like you guys are definitely, I don't know the best word, like more disciplined. Like, and I think you saw them exploited sometimes. Like they still kind of need to be trying for like their play style to work, whereas yours is more forgiving, I guess I would say. Like
it's a system they build, kind of what you saying with their concepts.
I feel like Optic's really good. I think their system actually not. Yeah, I like their system. Sometimes they just need to know when to like probably chill. But I feel like that what they do really good is they know where you're spawning. They have really good comms right now. And they're willing to take a little bit more risky things, which is good, and that's why you can see them point club a lot of teams. I think
it's annoying to play against when they're rolling, bro.
When they're on point, it is very like Kenny and Sam briefly talked about it, but like we were getting had a little bit in scrims against them.
That's what everybody said, though. I mean, we talked to a lot of people. Everyone's saying the same thing.
They've been playing some, and that's what I'm saying. And they're still point clubbing people on the biggest of stages. In the biggest of maps that they need. I just think that, sometimes they just take a little bit rogue routes, or they just chow a little bit too much, but that comes with playing more. They've only been a roster for not too long, and they've gotten double seconds. So I do have to tip that. But I just think that I like how they play. I just think that sometimes they probably just need to chill a little bit more.
Ghosty is trying to rein the other three in, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you said, I mean, something live and die by that ego challenge or that spawn kill.
It's fun to watch, bro.
It's gone to the grand finals twice, so it's something's working. Something's working.
100%.
So you guys win. You win the last major. You win champs. I mean, what was it like for you to win a ring? I mean, your story's already insane. We've talked about it, but like to be Faze to win that. Would you guys win 4-1 or 4-2 on the main stage?
I think we won 5-2, but we were up 4-0, so it was shocked anyways.
Yeah.
They weren't coming back for no 4-0. Fuck no. For me, that was more of a. It wasn't even like from where I came from, anything like that. Obviously, people know my beef with Faze, and that was me. Like, I wasn't losing that series, and that was all the talk the whole year. We went from being 0-5, getting top 8, having Faze talk shit to me. All of that shit. Obviously, I think they're hypocrites, but I just think that for me, it was, hey, you were talking to me at my lowest. Let's talk when we're both at our highs. So we met him in grand finals. It was for a ring, and it was the greatest feeling in the world. I won it with the teammates we literally were all thinking we're probably getting dropped to all be on top of the world. And, and that's an unreal feeling. And I was just, it let me understand, because I never won before either Major 4 or champs. It let me understand. I think that's another reason why I won this tournament recently, is because it gave me it gave me a realization of how much I need to play and how much I can play, because I put in so many hours that was like actually unreal, and no one was even probably a fucking 10th of where I was in out of scrims gameplay, and it proved at the biggest of stages, it proved at the biggest of times of with all that hard work what happens with it. So I think that's just another thing for me. It's just like it lets me know that like, hey, shit can be bad right now, but you can always bounce back. And if you work hard enough, at the end of the day, at one point it will pay off. And that's just like my thing. So I was cheesing.
Yeah, you were. Look at that smile, by the way. Look at that smile. The guy's looking good. Speaking of that cheese.
I'm trying to find his tweet. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was great.
Thanks for the ring. Thanks for the ring.
Yeah, I remember you guys were getting into it right after, bro. Like, BZ's tweeting he's never playing the game again, and you're just like going to simp. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, listen. I love trash talk in general for both sides of it.
Same,
like,
100%.
So I was not letting no one rock. Not when I'm winning champs. So obviously it was a GG's to them, but like, what can I say? Like, fucking slammed again, once again. Like, it's, you know, it's fun. It's fun. It adds an extra little spice to it. Obviously, you're playing for money. You're playing for accolades. But like, other than fuck all that shit, when it comes down to it, for me, it makes me, when I'm laying in bed and I'm sitting here like, fuck, do I really want to go play SD8s? Do I want to go play some Pro 8s? I just, you know, try to get back into the remember who was talking. Remember who wants to take it from you. And then, you know, maybe not every time, but, you know, a few times I'm getting up when I don't want to, and that's all I need. That's all I need to play.
I guess I got a question, because I think the year, like back when I played, you know, champs is in the middle of the year, so every event was really
crazy,
important.
By the way. That's crazy.
No, it is.
That is insane.
But even nowadays, obviously, every single team, they want to win the major, they want to win all the majors, they want to win champs. But do you feel like there's sort of like similar to, like, I don't know, you know, sports nowadays, there's sort of a build-up for you guys, like, to where you're taking things a little bit more seriously towards Major 4, towards Major 5, like with certain things? Or is it actually just you guys figuring the game out? Because, or is it, I guess, a mixture of both? Like, because I know you guys are playing more like best of 9s now, more best 11s, right? Trying to take search more serious before this last major. Like, was that something you guys weren't doing before, type thing? Or was it just because, like, at the end of the year, we're playing for a ring again?
No, I feel like we're always going super hard for, obviously, all the majors. We're trying to win them. But I just feel like we have a lot of, like, I think when we lose, we just, someone's a little off the game plan or someone makes a mistake. And I think, you know, the more time you have, no matter how, you know, if it's a new team, whatever, the more time you have to, like, you know, it takes some time to learn. Like, whether it's S&D, you're only getting so many reps of S&D and control in these scrims, and you get the most in hardpoint. But like, at the same point, you're playing 2 scrims a day. You have 2 times on each map for the whole day. So like, it takes time to iron out all the mistakes, and there's so many hills, especially on this game, and there's so many like weird spawns, and it's hard to learn, and some spawns are kind of unpredictable. I just think when we really iron down everything, and it takes time, it takes a lot of time to do it, whether it's S&D, and the best way to get reps and to actually learn things is through tournaments. Obviously online matches are great, but like,
matches are just different as well from scrims, right?
Exactly. So matches and tournaments, especially on LAN, are really how you truly learn, because like, once you get back, like, you got to get some reps on LAN. Even if you scrim every day, it's not the same as LAN. If you play your match, or if you play scrims every single day, the online matches are different. So like, each and every time you have to take something from each event. And I just think that, you know, the more we play, the longer we play, the better we get at making less mistakes. And I just feel like at the end of the year, we end up making less mistakes than another team, and that's simple as it is.
Yeah, makes sense.
Random thought. I sometimes want to put Kenny's head through a wall with the YYing as his teammate that watches that. Do you ever just
I gotta let him fly. Listen,
I gotta let him fly.
Bro. I gotta let him fly. Because he looks, the thing, I think Claw's OP, honestly. Claw might be OP, because I have to move my thumb to YY. Yeah, he might do it a little too much, but when he's on point, when he's not missing, it looks good. How
smooth was the Berlin one where he 180 piss on? And it was so clean, dude.
Yeah, there was one on Tuscan.
Zach, he watches it every day, bro. He sees, exactly. Like, that's the thing. When we're on podcast or you're watching a match, you see it every now and then.
Yeah.
But he hits, you hit like a flow state with that.
Exactly.
Because I claw too. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And all you can say is, hey, yeah, maybe I should, just wait until he's on. Once he's on, it's over. And if he's not on, he's got to get on a few more times, and we're good.
Oh, it just tilts me watching it, bro.
Oh yeah. I don't even pay attention to it, to be honest. It's just a normal these days. Like
you're used to that, POV.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever said anything about
that. Let's get into this year. Kind of similar. I think the only thing is Major 2. You guys do end up getting second. And it felt like Major. You guys started from losers, right? That was your losers run.
Yep.
It felt like a little bit different this year where you guys were starting to hit respawn form, especially around that major. Was it just going against Faze, just like not being on the same page in search? Was it just a search and destroy thing?
I just don't. I mean, hey, I'm just going to say I have no clue why there's best of sevens in this.
Okay.
I don't know why they ever switched to best of sevens to have two. What is it? What's the 2 hard points, 3 controls,
2 controls, 3 searches?
No, 3 hard point, 2.
Yeah, that's wait. So
no,
3 hard point,
3 hard point, 2 S&D, 2 control.
No, it's right? 2 hard points, 2 controls, 3 searches.
That's what I think it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's 7. We got this. We can do this.
Yeah.
Bro, to have a best of 7 is crazy. Like, especially I think against them, I think we end up we literally got Nezled. We got Nezled in finals, which is insane to even think of. We won both hard points, we lost both controls and both S&Ds. And I just think our map pool wasn't that good against them. And I think our S&D wasn't even close to being as good as it needed to be. I think, recently, obviously we've been doing way better in S&D and our control, but I just think getting second was great. I just don't think that we deserve to be a winner that tournament because their S&D was 10 times better than ours and our controls weren't that good. I think we ended up losing a hotel control, which was pretty close, but our silo control that we ended up losing the tournament on was not even close to being good, and they just had veto advantage, so it was kind of, they picked the maps and we just had to play them, and our map pool wasn't that good. So I think, congrats to them. I just think that they were the better team, and we were only good at hardpoint at the time.
That's why, at first when this format came out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss 2 best of 5s, but all right, I get it. They want to have one thing, and then best of 9s really grew on me because you really just had to be good at everything. It tested like your whole map pool, right? Like you had to be 100%. So solid. I'm not really sure why it changed. Like I don't know, internal.
Well, I would love 2 best of 5s too, just with veto. Like you could do the vetoes differently, right? Like that's you do 1 best of 5 one way, and then the second one a different way. Just depending.
100%.
And you guys at the time too, you guys weren't playing Fortress Control at all, right? That was an auto veto for you guys.
Oh, we would have played it, but they vetoed it. They vetoed Fortress Control, and then it didn't even matter what S&D. I mean, even our game 7, we lost that series unless we stole. We had to kind of win all respawns because their search was really good, and it was we just weren't that good at search. I don't even remember what the scores were, but.
It's wild though, because it's exactly 4 months, Joe. You look at the dates of start of the year to winning time and clicking time. It's exactly 4 months.
Oh, the same as last year?
Yeah.
Well, last year's a little longer because the preseason was a little longer, but I guess the start of the season.
Let me look at it real quick.
You're saying us and winning?
Yeah. If you look at Vanguard, so Vanguard first, year kind of started in November, and then what was major? You won what? Major 4?
Yeah.
No, wait. Sorry, what was major 1?
Major 1? I don't even know.
Major 1 was March. It was late.
Yeah, so it was March to July. So it was 4 months between major 1 and major 4. And I'm pretty sure it's 4 months exactly between major 1.
About that. It's about that time then. It's about
that
time.
No, it was literally a couple days difference. Yeah, it was almost exact. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We get a buff after 4 months.
Yeah, it's get a buff. Maven figured it out. Yeah, but I was gonna say for you guys control. I mean, Expo, you guys put it a couple of times, but I think similar to last year when Berlin came back in, it feels like that map helps your map pool. Obviously, you talked about how flexible you and Ken, you can run 3 Rs if you have to. You guys did it on Berlin a good amount last year. I'm not saying you will run 3 on this, but you can tell that it could be a very strong map for you.
Yeah, no, it definitely helped us for our map pool, and I think getting us good at silo control too. I feel like we're really good on all controls right now, and our hard points are really, really good. And then our S&D was lights out. Our S&D was lights out this event. We lost 1 in the grand finals, but you can't win them all. So we lost 1 in the grand finals. Other than that, when we needed to win, we won it. We played against Faze. We lost the first map to stay alive to not go down 0-2. We won the second map pretty convincingly, I'm pretty sure, 6-2, 6-3. And then in winners finals against Optic, we won the first map 250 like 244, and then we won the second map like a 6-2, 6-3 on their best shit Fortress S&D. So I feel like our S&D was just lights out this event. I just feel like our map pool was just too good for other teams, and I think we just came to play.
So in between Major 2 and Major 3, I guess, did you guys feel like you were there? Like, did anything change, or was it you guys just had an off stage?
I feel like our map pool wasn't that good. I don't think we hit our S&D stride yet. But I also just got fried against Faze, and that kind of put us into losers. And we got like 1 in a million came back on by Vegas to kind of kick us out the event. I still feel like I don't know what the bracket was. I still feel like we get a top 3 probably minimum at that event. But I mean, to start it off, when you're playing like, especially first round, when you're playing against Faze, you're playing against these top teams, you just gotta be ready to play. I just got slammed. We got 3-0'd pretty quick. We kind of choked the first map, and then we got hit with the, greatest comeback in history to get us out the tournament. So I feel like we were kind of due for this next event.
Yeah, I mean, after this map, I mean, was it pretty much mentally? Was it tough to lock back in after that one? I mean, you guys are probably just like, I know you guys have been around each other for a long time. You guys 5-minute joke about it, but like, I just feel like everyone kind of knows that's our map one.
I'm going fucking home.
Yeah, it's tough to lock back in.
I feel like we just need to win the S&D right after, and our S&D wasn't looking too well. And I think we ended up losing like a 5-5 a silo, which kind of hurt. It was like, damn, now we're down 0-2. We won the control nice and easy, and we were loading into our best shit at the time, which was Mercado Hardpoint, and we lost a Mercado Hardpoint to them, which was they're pretty good at it, but at the time, like, that was our best shit, and we should never lose to it. So losing like that, we kind of lost like one of our best hardpoints. We got insane came back on, and we lost a 5-5 S&D. So that was kind of like a fuck this event. Let's just regain and recoup, because we just got hit by the greatest comeback of all time. And like, what else can we say about it? Like,
yeah, no, nothing you could say about it. But yeah, then
GG go next.
Yeah, that's when you kind of talked about you were playing a lot more search. You found like search 8s. Obviously, this stage was, I mean, the major you had a 1.5 overall.
Yep.
The stage you had a 1.84. Some of the most ridiculous search numbers I've ever seen. I guess moving forward now for the Thieves, like, what do you guys need to work on the most? Like, where are you guys looking to work on the most for you?
I think it's just expanding our S&D map pool still. And that's something I kind of have to, I mean, not kind of have to work on, but we all have to work on. I just think at the end of the day, and I tell this to my coaches, when we weren't that good at S&D, or we were kind of trying to work on S&D a little bit, and we weren't doing too high in respawn for a little bit. I can always trust our respawn at the end of the day, no matter what. We could like, we were talking about like our practice wasn't going too hot before this event. We come in, we win almost every respawn, or we maybe lost two controls or whatever. But I feel like our respawn with this team, when it comes down to it, to the biggest of stages, when we're all ready to play, our teamwork shows, and we truly value full 60s, and we do stuff a little bit differently than in the scrims, instead of like always trying to chain and always trying to be perfect. I feel like we're able to like, okay, just get this last 30 seconds and let's work on the next break, instead of like trying to always leave that you leave 25, go to new. So I just feel like for this event, it's keeping our S&D as high as it is. To lose one S&D turn, like, we will never lose a tournament if we only lose one S&D map a whole tournament, because our respawn's that good. It's the same thing as Faze. Like right now, like Faze is insane at S&D, and they've been slipping off. But like the reason why they're always getting top 3s and all these things is because they're winning the S&D. Whether they get slammed the first map, they come back with S&D win. And I just trust our respawns, especially against the top teams, and especially when we're ready to play and shit matters, to be there to win at least 50%. At very least 50%. So it's like, we're gonna win one, and then we win the next S&D. All we have to do is win one other hardpoint or a control or the S&D. Like, we're like, I almost trust us. If we win the second map, we're at least going to the rest of the series up to 1. So it's like, I can forever trust that. I just think that our S&D needs to stay on top of things, and we gotta keep working on the maps that we're don't think are our favorite maps, and just work on a few more controls, making sure our controls are looking really good. And I just think controls and S&D are key to winning jams.
You're better at search than Phases at hardpoint. So
yeah. And they're able to get to top 3 every single time. And granted, that could be the players, their quote unquote whatever. But when you're that good at S&D, like all you have to do is win one map. So if we're almost guaranteeing 80 to 90% of S&D win, and all we have to do is win one map, we can win a respawn map. Even in our worst selves, we can win one respawn map against any team. And if I'm down to Neslo. I am down to Neslo anyone if we can get to it. So I think that's kind of our goal, is to keep our S&D as high as it is, because we showed this event, if we only can lose one S&D, then we should win everything. That's
why I thought Faze might make a run to a final, and people called me lots of names and thought I was crazy. They keep top 3 for 3 years. That's
what I'm saying. If they're gonna, especially this year, their S&D has brought them. I mean, they literally won Major 2 because of it. They won 2 S&D maps, and we won 2 respawns, and now we're tied. And their controls are better than us. Yeah. Like, they're obviously gonna always get a top 4, top 3 if their S&D stays good enough, because you just gotta assume that they're gonna win at least one map.
And they have the talent to win a respawn.
It'll be a fun race for the end of this, bro.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a exciting year.
Between you, Faze, Optic.
Yeah, it'd be a crazy year. Let's see. So that's pretty much it. Here's one thing I wanted to talk about. Here's sort of the trifecta, the big 3 we're talking about.
This. Yeah,
I thought this was pretty nuts. So Optic is 9-1 versus Faze on the year, which we talked about that last episode with JP.
Wild.
He just said they love to play up. Faze is 11-6 versus you guys on the year. You guys are 8-5 over Optic on the year. I assume for you that 11-6. I mean, it's only the maps are pretty close, similar to like you and Optic. But I assume that's a big part, is the search and destroy, what you're getting to. Why do you think you guys kind of own the edge over like Optic?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I just think my teammates love to play them. I think, Kenny, Octane, and Bill coming from Optic, I think they just all love to play them. And I think we play very structured, so it always I feel like we catch them lacking sometimes. We catch them trying to do a little too much, or maybe making the wrong play at the time.
A little bit earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we play a very structured COD, and I think that it kind of catches them lacking sometimes. And I just think that my teammates love to play them, and they normally go off against them. So it's pretty easy for me.
Optic as an organization, listen, you guys are riding high right now. I get it, cool. But between a month ago and IW, basically, it's been Kenny and Octane slamming you. And just keeping them from getting to that spot, getting to that next step, winning tournaments. I feel like Kenny and Octane got in the way so many times. That's why I joked with Kenny before the matchup. I'm like, bro, they got a most wanted poster of you. It's just, there's been so many times.
Play with these guys that I'm good against Optic, and I just had to slam Faze this event, and they were good. And we played Optic too. We were good.
Love it, bro. They love it, bro.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is we talked to JP, and I was just curious why he thought Optic owned Faze, and he's like, dude, Dashy and Shotzi just love to play Faze. They feel like they just hit another level versus these guys. And
they ran shit for a while. They want to slam them, dude. I mean,
I hear you.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, I don't even know if it's beef. I don't even think it's beef like that with Sam and them.
No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But for me, bro, when I play Faze, I'm trying to slam them every single time. This event, 1.3 on their head, I'm cheesing. I am trying to. Sam was saying, he ain't that. He felt like I was playing for basically, a ring, and I was at the time. I'm playing to beat them. I mean, granted, because I kind of knew I had Sam and Ken to play Optic later, but I mean, I just think, when you want, you respect them to a level and you want to beat them every single time, and I think that Optic just has the, I think Faze might just be mental a little bit, and I think Optic comes to play every single time against them, and they just catch them lacking, and it's been working so far.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, wild major. Let's go over just some other. One thing I can't believe we have to touch on this, but I will. I'm going to bring this up just so people know. Yes, it was a very intimate setting. We talked about that, but. If a coach is sitting behind a team, they're not going to learn very much.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to see the screens. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Drazah, especially search and destroy. Okay, let me explain this to you. Sometimes most teams have default starts, right? Sort of offense, defense, where everyone goes. And then what happens off of that is people either try to hard counter those defaults, which you guys did a lot of, right? That's just VOD preparation. Or the opposite, which is you make mid-round changes, mid-game adjustments based on what you're seeing they are doing and how you guys need to adjust that. Like, if you hear them saying, "Hey, let's do our B strategy," that doesn't change anything because you could just go to Codcaster and see what their B strategy is.
Especially in this time of the year, they ended up playing a Mercado SD, which we vetoed anyway. So the fact that anyone's saying anything is just another classic Optic crybaby cheese. But like S&D, and that's why I don't sit here and play 8s to learn strats from. I don't sit here and play amateur 8s or some pro 8s to learn strats from S&D 8s. I don't do that. I learn to be able to react with what I see, and that is something that some people are not really good at, and that's what changes and elevates your S&D gameplay. And that's how someone like Faze can go 20-4 in a season, because they know what they see, and they're being very active in the game to respond to what they see. S&D is all situationals. Exactly. So they know how to set up baits. They know how to double B and then go plan A or hit a late flank. Like, they're able to do things like that. So sitting behind someone and trying to steal their strats or whatever is just all bullshit. We have probably 20 Mercado S&D VODs of them if we wanted to get them, and we could see the same thing. And the only difference is I'm not going to hear the comment of, I see nothing A, let's go B. Like, it's never going to be anything crazy, and anyone saying anything like that is just trying to, take away from something we did.
It's fucking insane, but I can respect the fact that, like, it looks bad. Like, I get it. Like, visually, it doesn't look great.
Yeah,
but, like, let me
doesn't know something. Yeah.
So let me explain, like, the setup there, right? So you have the flank on one side, the Optic watch party on the other. You had the stage. And then there were a bunch of TVs that went around the whole place. The problem was the TVs were all on the stream, not in the live.
Exactly.
If you were watching that, you were hearing the players scream and stuff, and then 45 seconds later seeing the play. So that's why you saw people behind the players all the time. But I actually never sat behind the players because it's so dog shit to watch. You can't see screens for shit. You can't really hear well. So I still watched with the delay. Like, but the only reason somebody sat there is because, like, you just didn't want, like, spoilers, and you hung out. You can't actually watch COD that way.
Yeah,
like,
no one's sitting there with a notepad. Like, okay, so
you can't see shit.
You're just trying to watch the game. Yeah, you don't want to hear. Oh, wait, was that shots you just screamed? Did Optic just win that round? Like,
I got so many arguments with people on Twitter. I'm like, you dumb fucks. Like, this is such a non-issue. Like, I get visually it looks silly, but, like, holy, like, I told someone, like, this isn't like strats. Ha 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 ha. Like, it's not CS where, like, you have break-offs in eco rounds and stuff. It's like everything. Like, this is so, like, the split-second decisions. Like,
well, I think, like I said, that's what I kind of was explaining. Like, early, like, you may try to, I think you guys did a very good job of it on Fortress versus Optic. It was obvious. Like, you knew their defaults right away. There were so many hard counters to their defaults. It was insane. You knew Dashy was watching the flank on offense. You knew as soon as Dashy died, someone was going to peek you guys top dub. There was already grenades when that second player peeked.
So BZ's going to run at you and probably going one of you.
And then they're going to make adjustments off of that. And I think that's just really it, is that, like, I want to explain from a player point of view.
Yeah.
You have an A strat, a B strat, a mid strat, but then everything else is kind of what you need to do. And a lot of those, like you said, are sort of I think one of the most important things are sort of like the 2v2, the 3v2 situations to capitalize and realize, okay, what's open? Where do we need to plant? If we plant, how are we going to watch the bomb? If maybe you let them plant, how are you going to retake? That is the real search and destroy, is 45 seconds into that round and you're into a 2 versus 2. That's 100%. Where, like, search 100%. Really shows.
That's how 100%. That's how, like, real SD players are, like picked.
I love Optic. I love their players. I love a lot of their fans. But that, like, portion where it's like you're arguing with a conspiracy theorist. Like, it's just like almost like bashing my head against the wall. Like, they just, like, twist things and create narratives and just it's just
I just
exhausting.
I talk my shit that I don't even go on Twitter because I already know.
You already know.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's one thing that is tough too. Like, sometimes I do want to respond to some things because it's like that crazy. It's like, bro, like, it's just never worth responding to, like, someone who just.
I did, dude. And I regretted it.
That's what I'm saying.
Ass arguments, bro.
Maven loves to do that.
Yeah, because once you reread the tweet, I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna try to convince this guy who just tweeted this to like accept my answer. Like, there's no reason for it. And sometimes it gets to you, but I try to do my best to not really touch Twitter. Not even respond to people who I already know have no clue what they're talking about. It's like,
pull up.
If a pro tweets something, then like I'll be able to like.
Yeah, no players tweeted, no pros, no coaches, nothing, dude. Like,
yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure what I was thinking was correct, right?
No,
hit that point. Let's just talk overall storylines from the rest of the major. Optic with another second. It feels like they're really flowing. Ghosty stepping up for them. I guess let's just see. I mean, the thing for you is you just kind of said like maybe just clean up some of their respawns, right? It just felt like, yeah.
I feel like they didn't work on their control.
Their control, yeah. Their control, yeah. They lost both controls to you guys, but it even felt like you guys. It feels like Hook and Shotzi for a lot of other teams could be really tough to contain, and it feels like you guys make sure or make sure you get those trades. Right, like
I feel like our comms are just really good. Shout out to Sam. I think Sam's comms are insane. Ken's comms are good. Dill's comms are good. I just think like one thing that I think someone brought up recently. I forget. It might have been Sam or something, but it says like when you're in the moment and you're playing, it can get really mixy, and to have someone in your background being like, hey, we're looking for this person. This guy's the first off spawn, and anyone can do it, and our team does it very well. I just think that like Sam's very on top of it, and he's become a veteran in that sense, where it's like if I'm in the moment, I'm in 300 things are happening in my screen, I'm looking at 40 different things at the time. I have someone in the background saying, hey, we're good, reset, or hey, you can push that out, or hey, we're first guy's this guy. Spawn. Exactly. So it's like, okay, like I can reset because I was one shot 3 times. I'm trying to throw a trophy. I see someone getting shot in the back. We're good. And like you're in war, but it's okay to. It's good to be able to get someone to reset you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things I listen for really in listen-ins. Are you saying player comms? Because I just don't think a lot of players understand the significance of it. Okay, this is the first one off a spawn. You guys haven't then an idea of where they should be, where the push is going to start.
How far
from.
They can actually be.
Yeah. Here's the bracket. If you didn't tune in or you forgot, I think LA Thieves, Optic meet up in the winners final. I think down low, Ultra, started in losers, but I think showed that they're still one of the better teams in the league. Obviously, you lose a game 5 versus Faze, but a lot of teams have. That's happened to a good amount of teams. They probably not the placing that they wanted, but it feels like they're still a threat on the year.
Yeah, I feel like if they win it, they probably end up getting back to the top 3. So it's like, it's all like the matchups is all different. Like it all depends. Like it's actually really crazy on how much one match really means something, and that's what people don't understand. Is like, bro, if we lose, I mean, we were guaranteed against Rocker, but like if we were gonna lose, to Faze, we would have dropped into that same bracket. We'd had a tough one against Toronto, then played New York, and then played Optic or Faze, and then got to the grand final. So it's like those matches really do mean something. Like, and people don't really understand it. Exactly. Winning up top means insane, especially round 2. Round 1's obviously a hard one, but round 2, it's guaranteed top 3, or you're playing in losers at round 6. So it's like, or top 6. So it's like those matches really mean a lot. So, obviously huge to beat them.
Don't lose. That's really the important thing.
Don't lose.
New York, I think with a pretty decent run here to get back into the mix of things, they end up losing another game 5, but I think we just really weren't sure exactly where they were going to be. I think Optic, though, did show that they were a level ahead of them, but they were able to take down Rocker. I think when you look at it, when you talk about beating Legion and Rocker, maybe not the craziest wins, but I think versus Faze going to a game 5, just again, similar to Toronto, showing that you're in the mix.
Good push them, yeah.
Yeah, and then
game 5s. Okay.
Yeah,
Legion killed me, bro.
I was gonna say the Legion thing. Starting in winners 1, losing 3-0, and it wasn't a pretty 3-0 either. It was ugly versus New York, and then losing a game 5 versus Florida. And there's still a chance. There's still a whole stage, but
yeah, 100%.
Looking for that AC now, I think Rocker has like a 20-point advantage over them.
The reverse sweep to get 10 more, dude.
I think Vegas has a pretty hard split too. This next split,
and
they play Rocker too.
They?
So
sure. Who tweeted out that? Was it JK? Somebody did.
We have it. I believe we have.
Oh, did you?
I showed. I put it in the podcast thing, the doc. I don't know if we have, but they have the hardest strength of schedule. Going into this. So they play Texas, New York, Faze, Minnesota, and Seattle Surge. So
an
insane.
That is
an insane split for Vegas Legion. Now you never know what can happen when you get to a major.
They did go.
They've been beating teams they like shouldn't, and they've been losing to teams like they almost are losing to like a London, but then they're beating like some of the tougher opponents. Like who they beat? They beat Breach, and who was their other big one?
They played Toronto.
Last one, Toronto. Yeah, like it feels like they play to their competition sometimes, and maybe I'm not saying they're going to come out of that with 3 wins, but. I mean, they're going to be going hard, bro. They're going to be going hard.
They have to, because this is it. Like they fucked up their chance to kind of get into the runnings, and get some more points past Minnesota. But they kind of fucked that up, and I think that they got to bounce back, win some online matches, and get a good major, and hopefully a fucking.
How was Standy's major?
I don't think any of them played too well.
Well, I'm saying like he clearly was like a.
It was not
slang they needed, like in the lead up, right? Like he did what they needed him to do. Like he stood out.
He was the only player with a 1 in hard points. They all had a not good search. He had a 0.5 in control, so it was just
okay. I was curious,
tournament.
If just him not doing that.
Here's the other key thing. So here's that strength of schedule we talked about. Some good teams with some. It should be a really fun stage here. But Rocker is the other one.
He's at the bottom.
Yeah, Rocker's the other one. Remember, Rocker starts off again with a home series. Like they have a couple of matches on LAN where those were the only 2 that they won last stage. So that'll start next weekend. But Rocker has that advantage when you talk about the CDL points.
Yeah,
Clay is going through it.
Yeah. They certainly are. I mean, for you guys, Toronto, New York, Mutineers, Rocker, London. I mean, some solid matches, but feels like you guys should be able to lock this stage down.
Yeah, no, that looks like a winner's bracket secured.
Winner's bracket, I like that. I think that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna get into some community questions. Before Clint, you got anything else?
No. I think. Well, I guess. We don't really have to dive into it too deep, but just like the whole trash talk thing, we kind of touched on it a bit. But I just want to say, like, I love it. Like, just in general, like the fact that you'll bring up stuff. Like the thing I was trying to think of from that champs was you dragged like a simp tweet from, like a year ago. It was in like January. Just pulled that back, or like Ghosty talking shit. Like I love that. Like I don't know. I guess it makes me think of like Jordan's whole thing where he always found like a chip, like something to like motivate him. Like you have this, like you'll remember that trash talk, and you're gonna literally take it in both hands and thrust it in their throat once the match is over. And like. I guess I wanted to know just briefly, like for you, it's cool. Do your teammates ever like kind of die back?
No. My teammates always let me do me. They all very much know like this is my everything, so I take it as that. I do. I mean, I respect some people who are grinding. That was a long time ago. But I think that that was a good tweet. That was my first one. That one got me cooking. I just think
got you going.
Yeah, I just think.
Well, I know I say those words all the time. Anytime I shit on somebody on Warzone, I say dog shit fuck every time. Dog shit fuck every time.
I just think. I mean, it adds more for me. We're playing for a lot of money. We're playing for chips, rings, whatnot. To have for me to make it more personal, because like obviously I want to win anything, whether someone's talking shit to me or not. Just to push, like I said, to push me out of bed when I don't want to get out of bed, to make me want it just a little bit more. When people are talking shit, I have fun with talking shit back, or it comes or goes. Like sometimes, like when we lost the Major 3, I got slammed by Faze, Optic slipping me off. Like we're good. Like that's perfect. Like that's good trash
talk. Good for the league, bro. I love it.
Exactly. Like
where'd this come from, dude? Come on. Like you don't have muscles. Like where'd that come from?
I don't know. I'm not
I thought there was like some story. Like it's nothing. You just like did it.
I just did it one time, and then I
did it and cheesing, dude. You just cheesing the whole time while he's doing it. Just
I did it one time, and I try. I'm trying to get some. I need to get some muscles before I do that. I'm trying to get to the gym eventually.
You can join Joe and I on the Peloton at 5:20 a.m. Central.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, he's West Coast, brother. That's not happening. That is not happening. All right. So let's get to some community questions. If you're listening, you want to get involved in this, Ultra puts out a tweet, so you can respond to that. But this one's from Michael Rook. Other than your teammates, who is the one player or players I guess you have a lot of respect for?
Like I bringing him before, but he's not in the league right now, or I mean technically, but Illy. Illy, I have a lot of respect for Illy. that is one of the people that I was kind of, talking to, and when I was coming up in MW and all these things. And that was a person who I would say he's probably the second biggest grinder there is. Obviously, he hasn't been playing recently, but I think, I give hella respect to him, and I think he's part of the reason why I put that much extra online, because when I was playing and he was playing in MW, he was grinding when no one else was grinding. Yeah. And I think I took some of that from him, and I realized, and I was like, wow, like this guy's winning champs in MW, and he cares very deeply for it, and he plays more than everyone else. So I took that, and I was like, hey, like if this is my competition, if I want to be able to beat this, I have to be, play more or be better. So huge shout out to Illy. That guy's, I'll always have that respect for that guy. People who, like I said, play the game will always have my respect, because I know who's playing and who's not playing, and he's definitely someone who's playing a lot. So shout out to Illy.
All right, shout out to Illy. Hopefully he comes back soon.
That'll be fun to see too.
Yeah, 100%. Next one is from Armin. I mean, this is similar, but like, where do you get your passion from? Like, do you think is it something just because like you took that risk? Like, do you think that's where it started from? Like that move from Alaska? Like, I have to give this my all.
Yeah, I think I came down with no money. I came down with no guarantees. There was no nothing. So it's always been, if you want it, you have to get it. It's not, if you want it, you can bullshit around and have fun and do all these things. If I wanted to do anything, I had to do it. So I think the all or nothing mindset's always been here, and I think it comes from being in the beginning, from taking a chance, and having it lead all the way to here. So it's works for me, and it's worked since, and I just try to keep doing it. If I put everything into it, at one point it pays off. At least it has so far.
Joe, you want to be impressed?
Yeah.
Next question: who's Drazah's best friend in the scene /league not on LAT? I'm a good listener. It's Op.
It's Optimum. Yeah.
It's Optimum. That's my fucking boy. Come on, that's my roommate. I would actually be in Alaska, and I would be doing nothing without my boy Optimum. So he gave up. He let me come live with him. We were sharing a bedroom for a few months, and we were both grinding. So shout out to my boy Op.
That hand-eye coordination though, with some fishing out there, dude, you'd be twisted.
Yeah, no, I'd be turnt in Alaska. Fish on.
Last one, in some that hits home a little bit. This is from Shadow. He wants to know your favorite restaurant in Fairbanks. He says his is the Cookie Jar.
I don't know what that is, but
okay,
Shoguns.
We'll write that one down.
Shoguns is a hibachi restaurant, and it's always funny because my boy Ken, he's been to Shoguns, but he always calls it mid. I'm like, bro, what?
Really?
In Alaska, for my birthday, I would go to Shoguns every single year. For any birthdays in my family, we go to Shoguns, and it was fire. Hibachi, I love the rice. We get yum yum sauce, everything.
Even Shoguns, a lot, because you're one of 32 kids or whatever you said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
No, that's great. I think that's it. Drazah, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for taking the time on your off week for hopping on, sharing your story. It's an incredible one. I think for anyone listening or talking about being a competitive player, this guy, he did it. Like he lived it. This guy didn't even know Jacob was a world champion and he was on his team.
Hey,
so.
on God. He's a two-time,
bro. And thank you just from me, because when you came into this, dude, I was just pissed off. I wanted to drop kick the production team. Everyone was just bitching about the CDL. I was sick of veterans just whining.
Not Ultra's production team.
And you came in and just for a breath of fresh air, bro. You were just passionate. We were hearing from Eric how great you were, and I don't know. You came in at a time and you provided entertainment and passion. It's great, dude. Keep doing you.
I appreciate that. Some people get complacent these days. I don't know. There's a lot of fake grinders out there, but we expose them out here. We're gonna expose them.
We'll keep it rolling, dude. Thank you for coming on, man. You were awesome.
Thank you. Of course. I appreciate you guys having me.
Joe, anything to add to end this?
No, we're out, baby. Right. Take us away, man.
Everyone have a deliciously sexy evening. Maybe go to Shoguns, get some hibachi, put some meat in your mouth. Take care of yourselves. Maybe a little sexy time. Good night.